All right, so now we're going to learn how to solve systems by substitution, which is a second way. All right, so hang on. Wait a minute. All right, so we're going to single out the x or the y, and then we will substitute it back into the other. And I'll give you some more detailed steps in a minute, but that's what we're going to do with substitution. And it sounds, the name, look, mathematicians are not real creative on their naming, okay? So substitution, that's what we're going to do. We're going to substitute. We're going to plug it in, plug it in. All right, friendly reminder, you can get different answers. You can get where it intersects one time at a point, so you get an x value, comma, a y value. Okay, you can get it where it's the exact same line on top of each other, so you get infinitely many values for the x and the y. Or you can get no solution, because they're parallel lines. All right, substitution works best when x or y are by itself. So it's like x equals some stuff, y equals some stuff. And then we substitute that into the other equation, solve it, we'll get a number, take that number, fit in for the second variable. All right. Substitution, notice x is by itself. So this time it's just a plain number. So I'm going to take 6. So we're going to get an x comma y as our answer. So 6 is the first answer. And where x is, I'm going to substitute it in. So I'm going to write 4 times 6 minus 2y equals 10. 4 times 6 is 24 minus 2y equals 10. Remember, when you have a just a letter by itself, you need a letter to equal a number. When it's a y squared on the same side, or x and x squared in the same side, then you need to set it equal to 0. All right, I'm going to subtract 24 because 10 is a regular number. 10 minus 24 is negative 14. So I'm going to divide by this negative 2 because he's being multiplied, and the opposite of multiplication is division. So my answer is 6 comma 7. And we could check it. We could do 4 times 6 is 24, minus 2 times 7 is 14, and 24 minus 14 is 10. So it worked. We checked it. Let's do another one, because they're not all going to be that easy. All right, so notice y is by itself. So everywhere there's a y in that first guy, I'm going to substitute it into the other equation. So I'm going to write 3x plus 5. Instead of writing y, I'm going to write 2x equals 26. So I really have 3x plus 5 times 2x is 10x equals 26. 3x plus 10x is 13. That's an ugly 3. Whoa. Equals 26x. Oh, why? This is a regular 26. I have no clue why I randomly just put an x there. All right. We want, remember, when a letter is all by itself, we want it to equal a number. So divide by 13 because he's being multiplied. 26 divided by 13 is 2. And so when I solve a system, I'm going to get an x comma y. So now I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to write y equals 2 times the x. And the x is 2. So I get 4. So I get 2 comma 4 is my answer. Right, notice the x is all by itself. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug it in right there. Plug it in, plug it in. 3y. And then I'm going to write plus 2y equals negative 11. So 3 times negative 11, negative 33. Plus, you're going to distribute. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2y equals negative 11. All right, combine like terms. 9y plus 2y is 11y. Equals 11. Okay, negative 11 is a regular number. It's a constant, so I need to move the other regular number over. So I get 11y, negative 11 plus 33. I don't know why. I had to do it in the calculator. I was like, I think it's 22. Let me double check. All right, it's 22. This 11 is being multiplied, so I'm going to divide. And so 22 divided by 11 is 2. All right, I solved for y. This is y, 2. Let me pause real quick and make sure I did this right. This is x equals, so I put it in the right spot. Fabulous. This was x equals, okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't confuse them. Okay, so y is 2. So then I'm going to come right here. X equals negative 11 plus 3 times y. So x equals negative 11 plus 6. So x equals negative 11 plus 6, negative 5. So my answer is negative 5 comma 2 in parentheses. Okay, here, notice there's no coefficient, that's the number touching x, or a number touching y on either of these. Hang on 1 second. Yeah. All right, so we could solve the top guy for x and then substitute, or we could solve the bottom one for y and substitute. On this one, I am going to solve, I'm going to solve it for x. And then I'm going to do the problem again and solve it for y to show you it doesn't matter what you choose as long as your math is correct. Chair is super loud. Chair is loud. All right, so I have x. You can't see that. Hang on. Hold up. All right, x plus 2y equals 9. I want x by itself, so I'm going to get x equals 9 minus 2y. So everywhere in right here, I'm going to pop in this guy right there. All right, so let's go back. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so I have 3. And so instead of writing x, I'm going to write 9 minus 2y. And then I have a y equals 17. Notice originally I had an x and a y in there, but I need to get the same letter in the equation, so it's easy to solve. When there's two different letters, like an x and a y, on the same equation, I can't solve it. When there's like a y and a y squared, or like a y cubed and a y squared, I can solve that by different strategies. But when it's two different letters, I can't solve it. So now we need to distribute the 3. I get 27 minus 6y plus y equals 17. Combine like terms, so I get 27 minus 5y, 17. All right, so 17 is a constant, it's a regular number, so I'm going to move that 27 over. I'm just going to rewrite that step. I'm going to subtract 27 because he's positive, and we do opposite operation. Okay, so I'm going to divide by negative 5. So negative 10 divided by negative 5 is 2. So my y value is 2. Okay, then I can go back, and this 2 you can plug in right here, you can plug in right here, or you can plug in right here. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and plug them in right here. Right, x equals 9 minus 2 times this 2, because that was the y value from here. So 9 minus 4, I get 5. So I get 5 comma 2 is my answer. And that's what I solved for x in the top. I'm going to do this exact same problem and solve for y in the bottom and still show you that we get 5 comma 2. All right, same problem, except now I'm going to solve for y. so 3, oh, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. 3x plus y equals 17. I want y by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 3x on both sides. All right, so here's where we are. So everywhere, right here in the top guy, I'm going to take him and I'm going to substitute it in the top guy, because the bottom guy is where I'd done my finagling. All right, so x plus 2, instead of setting y, I'm going to do 17 minus 3x equals 9. I need to distribute this 2. 2 times 17, I think, is 34, but I sometimes mess up. Minus 2 times 3 is 6. All right, combine like terms, so x minus 6x is negative 5. I'm going to rewrite that. All right, this 9 is a regular number, so I need to move that 34. So I'm going to subtract them. And 9 minus 34, negative 25. So I get negative 5x equals negative 25. So I'm going to divide by this negative 5, because you need the x all by itself. So negative 25 divided by negative 5 is 5. So the x is 5. And then I'm going to come back here to this dude. So I'm going to say y equals 17 minus 3. And instead of saying x, I'm going to write 5. So 17, 3 times 5 is 15. I get 2. So I get 5 comma 2, which is what we got right there, 5 comma 2. So when you have a letter all by itself, whether it's the x or the y, just choose one of them and solve for it. Then take it and substitute that whole equation into the other guy. Plug it in, plug it in. All right, let's do this one. So here we can do either one. Solve for x here, or we could solve for y here. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do the top just because he's first. So I'm going to say x equals 5 minus 2y. All right, so I just did this guy and solve for x. So when I do the second guy, negative x plus y equals negative 5. Instead of this x, I'm going to plug in this guy. So I'm going to say negative 5 minus 2y plus y equals negative 5. I need to distribute this negative 1. It's like an invisible one. So negative 5 plus 2y plus y equals negative 5. Come here. Negative 5. 2y plus y is 3y equals negative 5. You're not going to freak out. All right, this is negative 5 is a regular number, so I need to move that regular 5 over. So I get 3y, negative 5 plus 5 is 0. You're not going to, yeah. That 3 is being multiplied, so I need to divide. 0 over any number is 0, but any number over 0 is defined. It's super important that you either know that or like be able to stick it in your calculator. Right. So these cancel. So I have y equals 0 over 3, which is 0. So for my answer, I get 0. So I'm going to come right here. Say x equals 5 minus 2 times 0. So 2 times 0 is 0. So I get x equals 5. So I get 5 comma 0. And that's my answer, 5 comma 0. It's okay to get 5 comma 0. It would also be okay to get the answer 0 comma 0, by the way. All right, so that's solving by substitution, and you do it when the letter's all by itself. So go try the homework.